Hello and welcome to the Do Different Conversation series, a chat with influencers who help us think differently, but more importantly, do differently. I'd like to welcome Ümran Beba, partner at August Leadership, which is one of the leading global executive search firms. And she also served in various leadership roles at PepsiCo for 25 years, including her most recent role as SVP and Chief Global Diversity and Engagement Officer. Ümran has been featured in Fortune magazine 3 years in a row as one of the most powerful women in business on their global list, and she has received numerous awards and rankings for being an inspirational leader, mentor, and diversity advocate. And welcome Miha Pogacnik, who is a world-renowned violinist, business leadership visionary, ambassador of culture for the Republic of Slovenia, and Miha has created an exceptional capacity for tapping art as a significant force for productivity, creativity, and organizational renewal. His fresh approach fuels organizational and individual development and sheds new perspectives on corporate strategy. So welcome both. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
This is really just such an incredible time, right? It's as difficult as a time as it is globally with the pandemic. I think certainly between the three of us, and I know you have a lot of people in your circles, we're all looking at what's possible out of all of this. So I think that's kind of what brought us here today is talk about this deeper idea of resonance and purpose that we can all draw from within. And with that, Ümran, I really want to start with you first, because you can kind of level set this for us, coming from the corporate world for so many years, being a leader in the corporate world in many different capacities. You've guided people, you've guided them through many other difficult times. So what do you see now, and where do you see resonance kind of fitting in with all of this?
Thank you, Miriana. And also, hello, Miha, my friends from many years. So I would like to start with the crisis and how it impacts the business world, I think. And what we are observing, we always focus on the people, first of all, their safety, their well-being. And then the second area is business continuity. And then the last will be how the future will look like. And in most of the crisis situations, you will have a scarcity of resources. So in such a world of scarcity, I think it's so important to get the resonance of, a bigger organization. It's not only my voice, but it's actually the power of more than one person, power of teams. And then we have to bring it together under the values, purpose, vision, and mission of a company. So therefore, this resonance is really critical to survive in a crisis, to succeed, and be ready for the future.
Yeah. And do you think resonance is it different now than what you've experienced before, being able to apply something like that?
Yeah, most of the crises I have experienced before, it was unique to a country or a geography or a region, let's call it. This is the first time we are observing a global crisis. I had earthquakes in the past in one location, flooding, to tsunami, nuclear leakage. So, but they were unique to a country or a region. This is the first time we are seeing a global pandemic. And I think the resonance is even more important because the scarcity of resources cannot be compensated by other countries or regions' performance, because everybody is somehow going in, let's say, in difficult times. So you have to bring the power of all to make it a better business, better world, and better future.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah. And I mean, Miha, Umran brings up such great points here. And certainly, like, from a global perspective, I know you and I have had many conversations about, people as we sit here in our silos, this need to have something rise up that is stronger within all of us. Can you set the stage for us here?
Well, Umran, you said scarcity of resources. You see, when we talk about resonance in terms of musical masterpieces, then actually we are talking about abundance. Because if I start playing, for instance, as soon as the music enters, we are in abundance. We are in abundance of inner experience. And the resonance is exactly that which lifts our meetings to another level. I actually say HR is human resonance, not human resource. It's resonance that we need to get people together and focus on something. Look, what did you just hear now? What was it? It was a question. It was a question of empathy. It was like corporate soul healing, you know, where everybody's now in silo and in despair, in upset and all this, in fear, whatever. You know, how healing to come with the right question in the right moment. And resonance takes us above ego problems. We start immediately as a team on another level. And it's important to know that music is not just entertainment. Actually, it is creating the right environment in which we become very productive and creative. So that is what I say about resonance.
Yeah, that is really beautiful. And I love the way you use music, Miha, right? To just open up something deeper in us. And certainly, you know, as I even open with this, just as great artists, you have this wellspring within you to tap in. Even as you sit alone, to tap into something deeper in yourself. And that's really what you help audiences come to understand in a more deeper way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, especially it is challenging now, right now, and this thing is not black and white. You see, that's why I also have a shirt. Look, with the colors. It's about everything but black and white. It's about colors, about myriads of possibilities. I can give you, for example, an example how the transfer happens, because I play and transfer the experience into strategy of a company. You see, and if you experience that, then you have such an inner memory of it, deep memory, which enables you to actually sustainable to drive the change. Not just, you know, a PowerPoint presentation without power. I always say PowerPoint with no power. Now look, the beginning. Can you feel the energy? It is a resolution. There I go on. It starts with one line. It says, bah! You know, one line. Can you hear that? It says, bah! Direction. Well, that's what's missing very often. Direction and identification. So you are in it. You are burning in that line, in your vision. But, you know, others are not burning. That's the problem. So they need to be taken on board. So that's the second step. Look. In second step, you take them on. You take them on. Yeah. You see, in the second step, everything above, everything below has to enter this direction. And then, of course, you have to implement. I don't say execute, because that's military, you know, you kill it. So, implement. Can you hear the will to get something done? And so on. So, why am I showing this? Because in the music is there a clear structure and clear meaning. And if you look at this now, isn't it beautiful? Now, if you look at this, you have here two sides, one above, one below. This is digitalization, I say. Digital, below, and above is something that we don't know yet. It's a human potential. I call it humanization. Digitalization, humanization. Now let me conclude by saying something you will appreciate. Here, the direction. Where do we go? Back to normal. Right? Everybody wants back to normal. I say, is that possible? No, they say, down to new normal. down to new normal, restrictions. No, I say up, up, beyond normal, above normal. That's missing today. Normality is curse of humanity. Who wants to be normal? We want to go above and beyond normal, which is genius.
I
What
love
do you
that.
say, my ladies?
It definitely, it speaks to the big picture of the new possible, what is possible in all of this. And Umran, as we're listening to Miha here, I want to ask you, I mean, part of what he's bringing up is this idea of clarity of purpose. And I know this is something that I've seen you write about and we've talked about, and this deeper purpose that that you as a leader have to kind of instill in your people. How do you see that as different right now, or how can it be lifted up to this new possible that Miha is speaking of?
Actually, leadership with purpose is more important than ever today. It has been on the table for the last maybe 10, 15 years with leading organizations, but now we are seeing more organizations and CEOs are signing up for business with purpose, leadership with purpose, and doing good basically while delivering the financial results. Without that, I think it is not seen anymore a complete picture or the right direction. So in this environment of, I think, crisis and also some, as Miha said, going down spirit, what is the new normal? I think purpose becomes more important than ever, especially for employees working from home, some of them, and some of them, of course, in the front lines, to know why they are working, how they are working, what is the future. I think that purpose, communication from the leaders is very important, but also the human side of the connections and I think starting the conversation with a caring question or with a caring comment, I think is the new normal, which is good, I would say. And that's the expectation going forward. This is not anymore like business as usual or a question about how the business or how the project is doing. It's about human conversations. It's about authentic conversations. It's having a purpose as an organization and as a human being, as an employee is very critical. So you really can survive and positively grow difficult environment. So we need the power of our leaders in this environment, sharing their purpose, the organization's purpose with the employees, showing their authentic voice, and also the empathy, the human side of the conversations becoming very important.
Yeah. And are you encouraged, and I know Miha, you'll jump in here too, but just Umran, are you encouraged by what you're already seeing in terms of just even individuals being more open to wanting to tap into deeper purpose? I mean, we've talked about purpose probably for a decade with employees and leadership and all of that, but now it seems like people are really harnessing, the strength to really look for that.
I think we were definitely talking about it, but now it's obviously not only talking, but acting. It's about acting because you can't miss this opportunity as an organization, as a leader. It's time to show your real purpose in such a difficult situation. And I am encouraged by what I have been seeing in the conversations, either, from leaders to their employees or in, panels or webinars. I mean, every conversation is talking about well-being, empathy, how, people are connecting with each other in this environment and finding that I think common humanity, which will take us to a better place. I think we need to feed our souls. And what else other than art can help that?
Umran, I must immediately step in here because thank you for giving the clue about art. What is essence about art? It is the how, not the what. It's the how. When you said leaders should share the meaning or the purpose, if you are a leader and you put it on a presentation, your purpose to people, they will, you know, shrug their shoulders. Very nice. You can have this purpose, that purpose. Question is how to share. So this is where the art comes in. And I would like to share now with you, with the audience. Look, if we have distilled the most essentials of the purpose, then what I do, for instance, and you remember Ümran, we did it in Hong Kong and so on. What I do is I take my colleagues or my audiences on a productive detour or creative detour. What does that mean? Well, first they experience the change ideas or purpose through the musical process, through the masterpiece. And I paint this thing. Like you saw, I just showed the transfer. And they go through that. And then I hand the ball into their lap. They now make out of this purpose, resounding purpose, they make poetry as a groups, as a teams. And while they do the poetry, they prepare the presentation, which means choreography. How are we going to present it? And then they performance. But you see, it's all about purpose ideas, and it is not in a company setting, it is in an art setting. And only at the end, after the performance, we notice that same ideas go through music, painting, philosophy, poetry, choreography, performance. What happens? Suddenly that becomes part of your new DNA. You know, you are not anymore bothered by old patterns. They are not on your way. You can cut through it with this experience and actually implement. So this is the help of art. And unfortunately, that is not known yet. People are scared of art. They think, oh, I don't understand, and stuff like that. Not important. Only courage to step into the artistic principle, and you come out on the other side fresh, renewed, reinvented, with power and focus.
There really is an opportunity for a renaissance, sort of this rebirth right now, to tap into the art and the beauty of it. And Miha, as you've said before in your leadership roles, you've talked about how for the artist, whether a musician or a painter, you have that deeper purpose, that deeper goal. So no matter what, you have a clarity of purpose that you're always striving for. You know, so how do you help then your audiences tap into that a little bit more deeply with more focus and to really find that clarity of purpose?
To wake up the artist within. We all have it. People think they don't have it. Everybody is artist as a child. And then we make them normal, you know, by making them specialized. Professional idiots, you know. Sorry, I'm just joking. But this kind of getting reduced to one thing is very unhealthy. So I remind people that we are whole. A great potential in us. We can do anything if we only dare to start the journey of transformation, of development. You know, and there is this talk about well-being now, right now. People don't feel very good, you know. Well-being. What is well-being? Well, it's very important to have clarity about it. Well-being is not goal, it is a result. The same as with happiness. Happiness is not goal. Happiness is a result if you are filled with what you do. So if you do your thing in such a way that you are absolutely identified, which means identity, then you are of course happy and you are filled with well-being and everything else. So you see, these things are today not clearly understood. What is a chicken and what is the egg?
Ümran, Miha brings up such a great point about well-being. And, you know, we talk about the whole person and all of that. You know, what are the opportunities for really helping people tap into that in a different way now more than ever?
I think companies, the corporate world actually started talking about well-being a while ago, but it was only a couple of initiatives here and there, and I don't think they were really targeting everybody, but the people who were interested in it maybe. Today, everybody needs it. If you accept or not, doesn't matter. I think everybody needs it. And it's about taking time, you know, to do other stuff than work. I think is going to be very important. And sometimes, you know, having a hobby, a personal passion, I think has been important, but now we see it's more important than ever. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect, I think, the whole vacation idea, in this environment, people are afraid to take vacation, go somewhere, but still, I think you have to take off some time and do something, beyond work, with your family, with your loved ones. I think that's going to be critical. And we also started seeing, meditation and yoga, some practices that in the future, I mean, in the past, maybe they were not as part of the business world, or even, part of the well-being conversations as much related to business. But today, companies are offering, on Zoom to their organizations, exercise sessions, yoga sessions, so that the physical well-being, spiritual well-being, and I think also connecting with others in different ways. So I find this human connection, without seeing others in person, a very important new skill. Or we have to find a way of connecting, networking, and really finding positive interactions in that new space. That's the toughest in a way. You want to go and have a conversation at the coffee station, or you want to go and have a conversation in the cafeteria. So we don't have these opportunities anymore. But on the other hand, everything in a Zoom meeting doesn't have to be a formal business conversation. So we have to bring some of that lighthearted moments of human interaction into the Zoom space or team space, whatever is the interaction, technology able technology able interactions. I think we have to bring those human connections, lighthearted connections to those moments.
Yeah. And Umran, you've worked with Miha. You've brought Miha to your teams in the past. How do you feel his work is a way now, especially, of helping people tap into this other sense of well-being?
In the past, we worked in Hong Kong and also in Istanbul with Miha, with my leadership teams at that time. I think it was important to have a break, focus on the strategy, and kind of start thinking about the future, and also find your purpose as you are doing this exercise. And at the beginning, we talked about the importance of purpose even more today than ever. So I would recommend that, this exercise, this conversation with Miha is going to really help the organizations to have their purpose clarified in this new environment, because everybody is rewriting their strategies, business strategies. I hope not on the PowerPoint, Miha, as you say, but on a piece of maybe paper or whatever. So it's important that I think with these type of interactions, organizations can really find their purpose in this new environment, rewrite their strategies, and humanize also their strategies from different aspects. It is the aspect of delivering results, but also how do you impact your communities, your employees, your environment, multiple stakeholders that you are working with. So bring the empathy, the human conversations to this. I think purpose discovery is more important than ever. And that means well-being at the end.
Yeah. And not to put too much pressure on you, Miha, but what can you lead us through right now for anyone that is watching this? Again, there could be teams watching, there could be individuals watching who are looking to tap into this deeper resonance and this greater clarity of purpose. How can you guide us a little bit through that?
First of all, it's very gracious what you tell, Umran. Thank you so much. I did enjoy very much working with your teams. Well, Mirana, to your question, I see in the future actually in a company a environment developing that will have almost as powerful mission, if not more, than a boardroom. I call it inspiration center. And the companies are already scrambling to find incubators, all kind of names, but they don't call it inspiration center. I call it environment in which the purpose can be born in a new way. Environment where all people in a company, not only hierarchically the top ones, but that everybody can suddenly open up to a enormous potentials that people have in themselves, buried somewhere beyond. So that has to come out, and we artists can create that environment. But then they can, of course, handle many more things that they could otherwise, where they think they are limited. So what I think needs to happen is such environment where company gets wings, so to say, to fly towards their goal, not just stay in deliberation and a lot of yes, should we do, maybe shouldn't we do, and so on. When you're artists, when you're on the stage, you start and you go. You have no choice. You cannot just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, maybe I come in 10 minutes." Once you're there, you perform. So it's about beginning. So I would like to give this message. We have to start, not talk about it. Start. So how does it start? In music, we have something called upbeat, which means starting. Upbeat, where you sort of invite to a dance. No! So, then you go. So upbeat, it also can be gentle. Can you hear? It's gentle. I call it gentle power. But back to the question, starting, that is the secret. Because not forever talking about it, doing it. This is my suggestion.
Yeah. And I want people who are watching this to understand that when you play for us in this kind of environment, it is, yes, it's beautiful and it takes us away, but you're really tapping into the music, teaching us through the music how we can now express ourselves in our own environment. Even if it's not with a violin, it's like you said, we have to invite and bring people in and start, and we could still use some of the principles that you use as an artist and as a performer.
Yes, it is interdisciplinary. That is new. That is future. Because it connects worlds that are far apart. So beauty and meaning in masterpiece and beauty and meaning in organization. It builds the bridge. And because it is not, it's not like if I do this, I may lose 1 million or something, it's not directly connected with the pressure of the company, bottom line or something like that. It leaves you free to explore because it is art. Therefore, it has such a value. In art, you can make mistake. It's okay. You learn. You think I play violin like this just since yesterday. And it's many mistakes and learning and learning and learning. It is called discipline. And when you talk to Ümran about yoga and other options, these are all disciplines. And managers very often are pulled left and right, and so it's like a scrambled eggs. You are constantly in this kind of tension, and you have no discipline then. This is something one has to learn. And the most important discipline now is to listen, to learn to listen. I say we are born with hearing, but we have to learn to listen.
It's so true. And Ümran, with that, Miha says, again, like an artist, a performer, they have no other choice but once they start to see it all the way through. And they're also inspired by the fact that they know that they're seeing the vision of a masterpiece. They are working, they know what that masterpiece is supposed to be, and they believe in it and all of that. So I wonder, in the corporate environment, do you think a lot of this has to do with the vision of the company? And again, leaders being able to share a vision so deeply that then each individual can find their own clarity of purpose towards that vision. And maybe that's something that's a newer, deeper conversation right now. Do you think that might be true?
I think vision, mission, values, and purpose, they are all together very important. And I think to visualize where we are going as an organization, with what kind of purpose, and also I think what are the values. In difficult times, we will go and make sure we stick to those values, especially in difficult times, in crisis. And that visualization now, I think it's more difficult because everything became more like a short term. Like, okay, what are we going to do in the next 3 months, next 6 months? Okay, what's going to happen next year? But all of a sudden now, I think the 3 to 5 year plans are kind of on the shelf for a while. So this whole idea of, I think, reimagining and working with different scenarios is very critical for organizations. And in the center of everything, I think that deeper purpose, the values are critical. And then I think reimagining and the scenario work will continue in the next 1 year or two, continuously to succeed. So there's a lot of need for conversations, human connections, and resonance. I think that's what I want to say. And with the help of the right brain, it's easier to find, I think, that resonance. So we invite everybody to discover the right brain and the left brain, I think, becoming together in a powerful way.
Yeah, that speaks to your Miha. You always talk about heartstorming. It's co-creating and not collaborating, and it is bringing these pieces of empathy and humanizing these moments a little bit
And
more.
no deadlines. No deadlines, I say. Lifelines. When you
Right?
have a project, when it's finished, it should fly, not be dead. Oh, what do you think? A lifeline. Yes, Mirjana and dear Umran, maybe as a conclusion, I'm going to play a serenade for you too. And if somebody else wants to stay at this session and hear it, I think the best thing is to stay to finish with music. 3 minutes or so. And listen to this, what I call gentle power. There are two voices that are all the time intermingling. It's really a dialogue.
That is beautiful.
You see, music speaks directly to the heart.
Mhm.
So that is the value. And then you can start to hear the process. And that is strategy. So you have strategy upon the wings of the feelings of the heart. And that is future.
That's so beautiful. And Umran, I don't want to put you on the spot, but did you previously there's some beautiful song, a musical note that you could leave us with as well, if you're so inclined.
So I try to say something about the music and art, maybe, and the powerful friends. Yeah. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up.
That was so beautiful. And again, as you said, these are moments where we come together and we have to allow ourselves to have a certain freedom of expression with one another. Even our CEOs that are in these Zoom meetings with us, we want to hear from them in these ways, see their world, explore our worlds together, and really grow together. And as you say, Miha, co-create and do some brilliant heartstorming. So I truly thank you both for sharing yourselves in this way with us. And I hope for anyone watching that you do take a moment to really think about what has been discussed here and really do differently. Heartstorm and co-create with your colleagues and express yourselves more. And I think we will raise each other up that way much more as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
both.
Bye bye.